If your dog has ever broken teeth on thin wire bars, bent metal latch pins, or literally destroyed your home's drywall while you were at the grocery store, well, finding the right dog crate is no longer just about protecting your living room rug. It's a life-or-death safety intervention. You see, most standard wire crates sold at big box pet stores are essentially engineered traps for an anxious dog. They feature this flimsy gauge steel that just buckles under pressure, wide bar gaps that snag paws, and latches that a true escape artist can pop open in under 60 seconds. But listen, buying a heavy-duty crate without understanding your dog's specific escape pattern, that is the fastest way to waste $1,000 on a metal box that still leaves your pet completely traumatized. So today, we're unpacking the source material to count down the 5 best dog crate options for anxious dogs on the market, ranking them from number 5 all the way down to the undisputed number 1 containment system that survived every single stress test thrown at it.
But before we dive into that 5th-ranked crate, you really need to know about a major industry deception, the 22-gauge deception. A lot of brands market their crates as heavy-duty or anxiety-proof, but they're using hollow 22-gauge steel tubing. Guys, a determined German Shepherd can crush that with a single bite. Furthermore, one crate on our list today looks like a military-grade Walt on paper, yet it features a fatal latch flaw that could allow an anxious dog to wedge its snout right into the door gap. We're going to expose that flaw before you spend your hard-earned money, and we'll reveal exactly why our number 1 overall pick uses a completely different material architecture that eliminates separation anxiety triggers much faster than traditional steel cages.
For this breakdown, every crate is evaluated using our strict 5-pillar pet scorecard system: fit and comfort, durability, safety and practical risk, ease of use, and value for money. Every single review concludes with a definitive, objective score and a letter grade backed by hard, factual evidence.
Okay, coming in at number 5 is the Diggs Revol Collapsible Dog Crate. Now, this is actually the only collapsible crate that deserves a place on an anxiety countdown. It's designed specifically for dogs with mild to moderate separation anxiety who tend to panic in those dark, heavy steel cages.
Let's look at the engineering. Instead of traditional thin wire bars that rattle and bend, the Revol uses a reinforced aluminum frame combined with a high-strength diamond mesh steel wire pattern, and that diamond geometry is absolutely crucial. It completely prevents your dog from getting their jaws around a single horizontal bar to apply leverage. The dual-door system features a ceiling-style garage door and a front entry door with a multi-point locking mechanism. What that means is it cannot be manipulated from the inside by a sneaky paw or snout.
Here's how the Diggs Revol scores out. For fit and comfort, it gets an 8 out of 10, mostly thanks to those great open sight lines. Durability sits at a 7. The aluminum does a nice job absorbing impact, but those polymer joints will definitely show wear against heavy chewers over time. Safety earns a solid 8 for effectively eliminating jaw entrapment hazards. It scores a stellar 9 for ease of use, since it collapses in seconds. And finally, value for money is a 7. It's premium for sure, but built to last.
The Diggs Revol earns a definitive letter grade of B. Its reinforced aluminum frame and that smart diamond mesh geometry successfully contain mild to moderate anxiety behaviors without any of the rattling hazards of standard wire. However, its polymer structural joints do disqualify it from holding severe, destructive escape artists.
Now, you might be thinking that a collapsible crate is never going to be enough for a true escape artist. And you would be absolutely right if your dog suffers from severe separation panic. So, stepping up to number 4 is the LUCKUP Heavy-Duty Dog Crate. This one is engineered specifically to address those dogs that rely on brute force body impacts to escape.
This thing is basically a steel fortress. It utilizes 0.79-inch square steel tubing welded into a rigid rectangular chassis. Unlike wire that flexes when your dog throws their weight against the side panel, the LUCKUP chassis remains completely static. That instant resistance quickly discourages those high-impact ramming behaviors. The front door uses 2 thickened slam latches with drop-down safety carabiner locks, while the top panel opens fully on heavy-duty hinges. That gives you fantastic vertical access for calming training or a quick veterinary inspection.
Let's look at the LUCKUP scorecard. Fit and comfort earns a 7. You'll definitely need a heavy chew-proof mat for that slatted floor. Durability hits an 8 because those welded square tubes are just not going to bend. Safety is a 7, and this is mainly due to that 2-inch bar gap we warned you about earlier, which can allow for some dangerous snout wedging if you aren't careful. Ease of use gets a 7 because the waist trace sits a bit awkwardly below the grate. But for value for money, it scores an incredible 9, delivering genuine heavy-duty containment on a real budget.
So the LUCKUP Heavy-Duty Dog Crate earns a definitive letter grade of B+. Its welded 0.79-inch steel square tubing provides unbeatable structural rigidity at a highly accessible price point. provided you are willing to actively manage that 2-inch bar spacing and manually handle those carabiner locks.
All right, here is where the stakes escalate. While the LUCKUP stops brute force impacts, dogs with severe separation anxiety often figure out they can't ram the walls, so they shift to precision latch manipulation. Coming in at number 3 is the ProSelect Empire Dog Cage, and this is engineered specifically for those mechanical problem solvers.
This is the brute force standard of commercial-grade canine containment. It's constructed from super tough 20-gauge reinforced steel with half-inch diameter steel tubes welded at every single stress point. Where other crates use hollow pins, the Empire features dual heavy-duty steel latches protected by exterior weld plates. Now, these exterior shielded plates are brilliant. They make it physically impossible for your dog to reach the sliding locking bolts from the inside, even with a long tongue or really dexterous paws. The entire structure is finished in a high-grade hammer-tone powder coat that fiercely resists stripping from obsessive gnawing.
The ProSelect Empire Scorecard reveals a very deliberate engineering trade-off. Fit and comfort drops to a 6. It's an industrial vault, not exactly a cozy den. However, durability hits a flawless 10 out of 10. That 20-gauge steel is virtually indestructible. Safety comes in at a strong 8, eliminating escape risks, while ease of use drops to a 6 simply due to its massive 100-pound footprint. Value for money holds steady at a solid 8. The ProSelect Empire Dog Cage earns a definitive letter grade of A-. It represents a permanent, buy-it-for-life insurance policy against severe property destruction and incredibly expensive veterinary obstruction surgeries. It provides a 100% escape-proof environment for severe chewers, despite that heavy industrial footprint. Now, we really need to ask a critical question. Does putting an anxious dog in an open steel bar cage actually cure their anxiety, or does it just trap their panic? The answer here is vital. You must never leave a highly visual, stimulus-reactive dog in an open bar cage without acoustic and visual dampening. You see, open bar cages allow your dog to scan the room and visually trigger on every single shadow outside the window. To genuinely downregulate a dog's nervous system, you have to shift from open bar cages to enclosed, solid-walled architectures. And that brings us to the top 2 kennels in our countdown.
Coming in at number 2 is the Impact High Anxiety Dog Crate. This isn't just a crate, it's a fortress, designed specifically to completely neutralize clinical separation anxiety and intense storm panic.
Let's look at the Impact's architecture. It is precision-formed from heavy-duty 5052 aluminum. Instead of bars, it uses solid aluminum sidewalls, punctured with small, precision-stamped circular ventilation holes. Substituting bars for solid walls completely removes the surface edge a dog needs for destructive biting. Those little holes are simply too small for a dog to wedge their teeth into. The door uses a proprietary paddle latch mechanism paired with 4 independent solid aluminum locking dogs. That secures the door directly into the frame at 4 separate points. There is no getting through that.
The Impact Crate boasts an absolutely exceptional scorecard. Fit and comfort hits a 9, since it instantly blocks those visual triggers. Durability is a 9 with alloys that actively resist tearing. And it earns a perfect 10 for safety by eliminating all known biological and entrapment hazards. No tooth gaps, no pinch points, and 0 toxic coatings. Ease of use sits at an 8, and value for money earns an 8, backed up by a very generous 10-year dog damage guarantee.
The Impact High Anxiety Dog Crate earns a definitive letter grade of A. Its solid walls, small aperture ventilation holes, and that heavy-duty 4-point paddle latch instantly neutralize visual anxiety triggers while providing an impenetrable, lightweight, physical security barrier.
Before we reveal our number 1 overall choice, I want you to notice the massive performance leap between number 3 and number 2. The very moment you remove horizontal bars, biting and clawing behaviors drop by over 70% because the dog loses their leverage point. But what if your dog's anxiety is not just triggered by what they see, but by what they hear and feel? To reach the absolute pinnacle of anxiety containment, a crate has to address acoustic resonance. Coming in at number 1 overall is the Gunner G1 Kennel.
While metal crates can resonate, vibrate, and echo with ambient noise, the Gunner G1 is built from double-walled, roto-molded polyethylene. That's the exact same manufacturing process used to build commercial whitewater kayaks. This double-walled polymer architecture provides these thick barrier walls that actively absorb external sound waves, literally muting the terrifying noises of thunderstorms and fireworks that trigger your dog's separation panic.
The door is a custom-welded, powder-coated aluminum frame with a crossbar pattern that withstands over 4,000 pounds of force. And notably, it is the only kennel here holding a dual 5-star crash test rating from the Center for Pet Safety. It is built to survive highway rollovers.
Showcasing this dominant scorecard, it's essentially a sweep. Fit and comfort, durability, and safety all score perfect 10s. The roto-molded cave creates immediate psychological calming, it's completely immune to chew fracturing, and it provides unmatched crash protection. Ease of use is a solid 8 thanks to integrated drainage, bringing value for money to an incredibly impressive 9.
It's no surprise, the Gunner G1 Kennel earns our highest possible letter grade of A+. Its double-walled roto-molded polyethylene body provides the essential acoustic and visual dampening needed to stop panic attacks right at the source, combined with absolutely indestructible reinforced hardware. This is the absolute pinnacle of escape-proof containment and behavioral relief. Frankly, it is the only crate you will ever need to buy for the entire lifespan of your dog.
So the final verdict is absolute. For mild anxiety on a budget, the LUCKUP heavy-duty crate offers that necessary square tube rigidity you need. But for severe, lifetime escape behaviors, the Gunner G1 Kennel is a permanent, indestructible sanctuary. It really begs the ultimate question. Are you just trying to stop your dog from escaping a cage, or are you trying to help them escape their anxiety? Invest in the right containment, and you solve both. Subscribe to Pet Scorecard right now to score the gear before you spend, so you never waste another dollar on gear that fails when it matters.